while photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rosetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
PPBN is a network,
an online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to the judging of the commercial category of the 2026 Australian Photographic Prize. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you will love seeing some incredible commercial judges judging some images that will blow your mind today. I'm here on behalf of our competition director, Daniel Bingham, and our director of judging, Chris Anderson. Behind the scenes, we also have Nathan, our broadcast producer, and Mel Sinclair, our scribe. I'm Robin Campbell. I'm your panel mentor for this session. First of all, we'd like to thank our sponsors for their contributions to the prize. A huge thank you goes out to Nikon Australia, who are awarding our overall Australian winner with $5,000 worth of Nikon product. Thank you so much, Nikon Australia. Thank you also to AZO, who are providing the Australian runner-up prize of a Color Edge CS 2731 valued at $2,000. And our overall international winner wins a 12-month membership with Professional Photographers Business Network, valued at $1,000. Thanks, PBB and Mark. So today we are here to judge the top 31 images in the commercial category. These are images suitable for commercial clients in the promotion of a product, brand or company, including advertising, fashion, still life, food, and corporate photography. The production rules are open. They can also be both commissioned and non-commissioned entries. In this session, Our expert panel of judges will assess each image, scoring each of them out of 100 with a comment, and in some cases there will be a challenge where we discuss the image in more detail and rescore. When the session is complete, we move to closed-door judging, where the panel deliberates to determine the winner from the highest scoring images. Our winner, as well as second and third place Australian images, along with the winning international image, will be revealed at our live awards ceremony on August 13th. So not even our judges know who is going to win until the 13th of August. In a moment, I'm going to introduce you to our judging panel. But right now, we're going to have a look at the top 31 images in commercial. Take it away, Mel. That is an extraordinary lineup of images. I cannot wait for the judging this morning. I'd now like you to meet our judging panel, drawn from both Australia and internationally. So, Mr. Adam Hurrigan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. My name's Adam Hurrigan. I live in northern New South Wales. I was a newspaper photographer, 30 years also shooting portrait and wedding, and in educating and doing judging as well. I now work in communications and media and pretty much specialize in corporate and community event thing. I'm really looking forward to this category. Commercials where I live now. So yeah, let's get on with it. Let's do it.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Adam. Amber, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Amber Griffin and I'm from Wellington in New Zealand. I'm a Grandmaster of the NZIPP and the commercial category is very dear to my heart. I was the winner of the commercial category in 2022 at the Oz Prize and I'm really excited about judging this category today.
Thank you so much, Amber. Next up, we have Andy Campbell.
Hi, everyone. Andy Campbell, Victoria. Been in this game for about 40 odd years now and started off with the world of advertising, fashion and commercial. I've been lucky enough to have won this category with the IPP 2 or 3 times at a state level. So looking forward to getting in and seeing what you've all done.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Andy. I'd now like to introduce Mr. Bruce Moyle. Thanks, Bruce.
Hey everybody, Bruce Moore here from Tasmania, commercial, documentary, industrial and all sorts of photographer and cinematographer as well. I love this category because it's a cornerstone to what photography is outside of portrait and landscape. I think this is one of the founding parts of our genre and what we do. So I love judging it.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Bruce. Our next legend on the panel is Heidi. Thanks, Heidi.
Thanks so much. Hi, I'm Heidi Margosi. I am an Australian photographer based in the San Francisco Bay Area. I predominantly shoot creative fine art portraits, but over the years I have shot several international commercial beauty campaigns. So I'm really excited about this category and I can't wait to see what we have in store, and I'm really honored to be on the panel.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Heidi. Next up, we have Johan.
Yep. Hi, my name's Johan. I'm from Christchurch in New Zealand. I've been photographing for about the same time as Andy. And I've gone through all the genres. I'm started in newspapers, went through weddings, currently doing a lot of architectural work and people work. Commercials always sat there in the background. And I'm liking this category a lot because what I've seen so far is very diverse. It's going to challenge us as judges, and I'm looking forward to that challenge.
Very astute observation. Thanks so much, Johan. Next up, we have Katrina. Welcome, Katrina.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks for having me. My name's Katrina Ferguson. I'm based in Melbourne. I'm a proud Pick Time and Imagine ambassador. I'm a qualified journalist and I've been a professional photographer for about 17 years now. I started my photography journey as a commercial assistant, so on a lot of product, fashion, vehicle and corporate headshot sets. I currently work in marketing and I shoot a lot of corporate events and campaigns as well. And yeah, this category is same as Bruce, like certainly foundational in what we all do, and the communication aspect of the commercial category is what really excites me. So sort of, yeah, what are you communicating by what you're showing us and how you've chosen to do that. So yeah, let's get into it.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Katrina. And last but not least, we have Mr. Peter Barnes. Welcome, Peter.
Thanks, Robin. My name's already been said. I'm a commercial photographer based just south of Adelaide. I won the commercial category of the South Australian Institute of Professional Photography Awards 3 times. I like commercial photography for 2 main reasons. One is that you get to collaborate with clients who are heavily invested in the work that you're doing, and that pushes you as a photographer to do things you otherwise may not have thought of. And that's always really exciting. The other thing is the challenge of making ordinary things look extraordinary. And that really gets my juices flowing as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these photographers have met those challenges in what they've got to show us today.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Peter. Well, without further ado, I'm going to put the first 5 judges on the judging panel, and we're going to run initially in alphabetical order. And yeah, Mel, when you're ready, we can have our first image, please.
Good morning. Okay, the title of this image is Sydney Metro Tunnel, and the commercial application, it's used for the supplier to showcase the wood panelling installed in the Sydney Metro.
And this image has scored a highly commended at 77. Our judges are all really, really close in their scoring range. But yeah, I'd love to have a comment. Thanks so much, Adam.
Yeah, look, there's a strong leading line here that sort of gets us to what we're looking at. But I think in a commercial aspect, when we're trying to emphasize, especially that wooden paneling, that foreground probably dominates a little bit too much, and just a little bit of a tilt there as well, just as architectural style images try and get everything nice and straight. So it really leads our eye where we want to see.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. We'll go to our next image, please.
The title of this image is Underwater Wonders, and its commercial application, Food Editorial Celebrating Produce from the Sea.
And this image has scored a highly commended at 76. Heidi, you'd like to say something about this image?
Sure, yeah. I actually really enjoy the colors just right out the gate. It's quite delicious to look at. I think if I were to elevate this image, I would suggest maybe looking a little bit at some of these sort of stronger highlights that we've got going on. If, you know, indeed the focus is on this beautiful, succulent slices of fresh fish, then we really want to make that the hero, the star of the show. So just keep an eye on some of your lighting there and play around with it until you really bring that into the foreground. But overall, I'm really enjoying the colors here.
It's brilliant feedback. Thank you so much, Heidi. We'll go to our next image. Thanks, Mel.
The title of this image is Container Stairway, and its commercial application used for shipping client to describe the vast amount of products they ship.
And this image has scored a silver, 82. And what do you know? We have a challenge. So one of our judges, Bruce, you are in the next scoring range, silver distinction. So we are going to open up an elective challenge. Bruce, let us know what you saw in this image.
Thanks, Robin. I think this is really, really well put together image. We're in a commercial category which has that need to showcase something really, really efficiently and effectively. And this instantly is efficient communication straight out. You can just see a sea of what is here, and it's all precisely put where it needs to be. And it feels very, very put together in the right way. Now it is sharp pretty much right the way through, but it does fall away a little bit, but not too much, because we need that little bit of depth. And the actual lighting on this, with the strands of lighting from that orange and fading slowly backwards, gives us that three-dimensional image which is also striking. The color palette's great. I think that works really well, especially having that great bold bit of orange to keep you at the beginning, and then you can explore further as you go back. I think it's worthy of more than just the silver and an 82, and I encourage everybody to have a bit more of a look and a think, and maybe come up a bit.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Down the other end of the scale, we've got Amber. Amber, what would you like to comment?
Yeah, I scored this initially a 78, and I do agree I was too harsh, and I'm definitely happy to come up to silver. I feel like I will struggle to come to silver distinction, Bruce, because I really don't understand the inclusion of that little bit of fencing down in the bottom left corner with the black line running through it. I just don't really think that it adds to the otherwise quite polished aesthetic of this image. So if you're able to explain that to me, that would probably help. But I will definitely be coming up from my original score.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amber. Adam, you're in favour. You're also in that silver range, yep?
Yeah, I really wanted to reward the photo for leading us through, like as Bruce said, lovely light and sharpness right way through. And it really leads us down to the words hire me, which I thought was kind of a nice little kind of, it's hire me everywhere. I too struggled a little bit with the fence. Perhaps I thought maybe it's showing, your stuff's safe with us or something. It's behind a fence, although it was a little bit of a thing. I guess I was looking to take it into silver distinction, something a bit more than the really obvious text of the hire me and where it's a rest. And where I'm pulled is to the evergreen that's just up the top left. And if that's the company name, I kind of either don't want it there or I want all of it. So I'm kind of really drawn to, I get that sort of balance. But just the crop up the top there is what pulls me away from that really lovely, strong, elements down the bottom right-hand side.
Awesome. All right, Bruce, you're right to reply.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. I think the fence, just to address Amber, actually helps make it feel like it's sitting somewhere and that it goes out potentially to infinity upwards. I think that is the reason why it sits there. It just gives us a little bit of hint that there is a flaw to this, and then we keep going and going and going and going. So that's how I read it anyway. In regards to the hire me and the evergreen and stuff, I think the hire me is great. The thing about shipping containers though is that they actually get passed around a fair bit. They don't always sit with the same company. So they change a little bit over time and things like that. So as it would be unrealistic to not have some of those mixed in there, but it's pretty clean across the board. So yeah, I'll go with the evergreen being slightly cut makes it a little bit harder, but it is an interesting cookie. So let's have a look and see if we can come up a little bit more. Thanks.
Thanks, Bruce. Judges, if you could please rescore. This image is now a silver at 83. Well done to the photographer. Very, very useful and educational debate. We're going to keep things fresh, so I'm just going to do a quick judge rotation. Thank you so much, Adam, and we will welcome Johan to the panel. We'll go to our next image. Thanks, Mel.
The title of this image is Raspberry Tart Delight, and there is no supplied commercial application statement.
And this image has scored a highly commended at 79. So we're going to get a comment from one of our judges. Oh, no, we have a challenge. Look at that. All right, Andy Campbell is in the next scoring range. He is in the silver range. So Andy, take it away.
I wonder if we can just sneak this one across the line, folks. There's a fabulous Country Women's Association vibe to this image. It's fresh. It's poppy. There's a certain degree of thought that's gone into the framing and the choices. I think that overall the balance works very well. It looks appetizing. It feels like you want to dive in there and look at this, but it's also quite a lovely piece of art that we can see on the wall. Let's have a little chat about this one, folks.
Fantastic. I'd like to have a chat to Amber. You're at the other end of the scale. Thank you.
I scored this 76 in the highly commended range. And the reason that I gave this image that score is that I kind of disagree, Andy. I feel like the white balance of the lovely raspberries on the plate there, they feel to me like too yellow and a bit oversaturated, and I don't think they look appealing to me. And I question the shadowing, the use of the shadows on all of the floral and biscuit and berry elements that have been placed around the edge of the plate. I find those shadows like quite inconsistent and sort of unnecessary on a really otherwise clean backdrop. And the file quality of some of the inclusion of some of those elements is also, when you zoom in, quite questionable. So I'm interested to see what everyone else has to say.
Thanks, Amber. Heidi, you're nearly there in the top range of the highly commended.
Yeah, I'm nearly there and I'm listening. I scored this 79, which puts it at the top end of the highly commended range. Some of the things that Amber mentioned, I definitely was struggling with as well. I think the color of the raspberries overall to me just felt more like strawberries than raspberries. So I'd love to see those come to a more raspberry color. The elements around the plate, just not quite as sharp. And we've got a little bit of hazing on some of those delicious berries like the blueberries and such. So I am listening. I do think overall it's a really appealing image and I love the use of color, but just struggling a bit with some of the technical elements.
No worries. Andy, you're right to reply.
Yeah, look, let's take all those points on board. I think everyone's certainly had something to say that's valid here. I'd just like to mention perhaps there's a sort of a slightly religious iconography feel to this image where it almost appears as a medieval sun surrounded by lots of very pretty stars in this case. So from I guess a design point of view, I'd be looking to get this one just across the line to an 80.
Thank you so much, Andy. Judges, if you could please rescore. And this image is now an 80, silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. We'll go to our next image, please, Mel.
This image has no title or commercial application statement.
And this image has scored an 81 Silver Award. Congratulations to the photographer. I'd love a comment, perhaps from Johan.
Excellent. Wonderful framing, wonderful restful posing of this bird. It's great use of color, great use of texture. The texture in there works particularly well. If I was going to elevate it a little bit more, the beak's kind of too bright almost. You look at the photograph, wander around, and then you end up just looking at the beak when really you want to explore around more of those textures. But startling, very startling. Thank you.
Thanks, Johan. We'll go to our next image, please.
This image is titled Fruit of the Gods, Autumn, and its commercial application statement, food editorial, exalting the symbolism and seasonal significance of the Japanese persimmons, among other culturally revered produce.
And this image has scored 75, highly commended. Bruce. I have a problem. We all good?
Was that me? Sorry.
Alrighty, maybe Mel can step in. Has my internet died? Hello?
Yeah,
Have
all
you
good,
got me,
Robin.
my internet?
Yep. Okay, so Bruce?
Your
Mel,
comment?
could you step in?
Sure. Bruce, you'd like to make a comment?
Sure. Well done for showing us this bit of fruit and the way you put it together and everything. Flat lays are particularly difficult, and actually taking the time to really try and make a story out of this is you've done well. Now, some things to think about when you're doing this: think about your depth of field. You probably want to try and get a much deeper depth of field in the way you're shooting, so you can get everything in focus, particularly that fruit that you've broken out and got all the bits and pieces out of it in the bottom like left hand corner. And then think about where your lighting's coming from in regards to how the objects get lit, particularly anything chrome or shiny or anything like that. Your dominating feature in this image, unfortunately, is that shiny bit of metal which overtakes everything else.
Great. Thanks for that comment, Bruce. We're going to go to our next image. Okay, this image has no title or commercial application statement.
Thank you, judges. Apologies, it looks like my internet died, but hopefully I am back now. And we have a highly commended at 79. However, we have a challenge from Amber, who is on 87. Thanks, Amber.
Thank you. Initially, when I saw this image, I really struggled with this image in this category because I really struggled to think of what the commercial application could be. And I do wish that the entrant had given us a little bit more context to what the commercial application would be of this. But then I really looked into the image and saw how beautifully this has been photographed. It's very, very simple, but it's such a beautifully simple way that they've chosen to present this. And I can really imagine this being used in a commercial application for something to do with the death of birds. Over in New Zealand, we've got the avian flu that has just reached our shores. And I just think it's really worth us speaking about this. I'd like to see what you guys have to say.
Thanks, Amber. Heidi, you got your hand up for a comment?
Sure, thank you. I scored this a 79, so I am, at the top end of that highly commended category, and I'm definitely listening. It's quite a somber image, isn't it? But there's a real sensitivity to it. And I too was kind of struggling to find what the commercial application would be for this image. I think something that held me back was possibly around the head of the bird. We've got, some really heavy sort of shadows, and obviously it's not a happy image, so I can, move past that. But I think I keep coming back to how would we apply this in a commercial setting. So I'm still listening, but definitely open to coming up.
Thanks so much. Johan, you're in the silver category.
Yep. Yeah, I gave this 81. I'm happy for it to get a silver. I agree. It's incredibly somber. I did think of a commercial use, and I'm not trying to belittle the photograph by saying this, but if it were a funeral home, for example, it could say we care for the dead. There's a lot of care and there's a lot of thought that goes into this. If it was a set of photographs to promote a photographer as an artist, again, it's showing meticulous, it's showing careful, it's showing restraint and discipline. So I think there are uses for these images commercially. I think it's got a lovely is probably not a very good word. It's got a very strong sense of what it is, and that it is somber. It's about death, and it's quite morose in that sense, but effective. So I gave it a silver. I think some other people might want to think about lifting their scores and, looking at the effort rather than trying to find a cause for it.
Thanks, Johan. Amber, you'll write a reply.
Oh, thank you, Johan. We can always count on you to be so eloquent. And I agree with everything that you've just said. I'm glad that we've had an opportunity to speak about this. I think I would just ask my fellow judges to not place too much weighting on not understanding what the contextual use of this image would be, and really look at it for all of those beautiful elements that Johan has just described. It's already on a 79. I still feel like I'm happy with my silver distinction score, but if you could at least bring this image up to a silver, I'd be grateful.
Thanks so much, Amber. Judges, if you could please rescore, judges, that would be great. Thanks, judges, if you could please rescore. And this is now a silver award at 82. Congratulations to our photographer. We're going to do a quick judge swap. Thank you, Amber, for all your efforts. And we're going to bring Katrina onto the panel. We'll go to our next image, please. Thanks, Mel.
The title of this image is Tabasco, and its commercial application statement, 650 grams of chili peppers placed on a cardboard mold to form a Tabasco bottle.
Thank you, judges. Sorry, Johan, it hasn't quite come through. I'm not sure if it's your end or mine. Thank you so much. This image has scored a silver at 82. And we have a challenge from Katrina. Thank you so much, Katrina. Katrina is in the silver distinction range. Thanks, Katrina. Take it away.
Thanks, Robin. Yes, I'm currently on 87. This image has immediate wow factor impact. Color palette wise, it's extremely punchy. It's a great balance between, you know, the literal and the figurative. It's creative. It's minimal, so there's plenty of space there in terms of commercial application for adding in logos and slogans and catchphrases, all those sorts of things that we need to see sometimes if this was a magazine spread or billboard or what have you. It's clever. It's been very, very well handled. Yeah, as a commercial photograph, I'm finding this very successful, highly refined. It's distinctive, strong concept. So yeah, let's have a talk about it, and I'm asking for silver distinction.
Fantastic. Bruce, you had your hand up very quickly on 81. Thanks.
Yeah, I think all the things you said, Katrina, are true. I think the things that got me, though, was the actual Tabasco label. The label doesn't integrate very well to the rest of the fruit, and the chilies look amazing. It's all stuck together really, really well, but the actual, the way the burns have been put in and stuff like that just feel incongruent with the rest of the mastery of the image, and that takes me away from it. So I think it's worthy of a silver because it's really well thought out and put together in most respects. But the thing that matters the most is the label, and the label doesn't work for me.
All righty. Heidi, you're in the middle of the 80s range. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you. I scored this an 82, so I am really right in the middle. I potentially scored this a little low now that I've had a little more time to spend with it. I really enjoy the creativity. Look, the brand is well defined, clearly. It's visually striking, and I really enjoy the color harmony that we've got going on here. I was also struggling with the label. What I found was those sort of little cutouts just felt a little, what would be the word? Just unrealistic. We've got this really hyper realistic image, and then those cutouts just felt, yeah, they just sort of took me out. And because it's the label, because it's the brand, it's really important. But I am listening. I can definitely come up, but that was my same struggle.
Thanks, Heidi. All righty, we have a right reply. I think it's Katrina.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, guys, I actually completely agree with you about the label, which is probably why I didn't go higher, to be honest.
Katrina, right reply. Thanks.
I think everyone else heard me. Guys, did you hear me? Can someone just do I need to, okay, great, thank you. Yeah, so I completely agree. Those burn marks, they don't look real. And that bothered me initially too, Bruce. Totally agree. But I actually think it works because it's illustrative. And I think this product photo is not trying to be real. It's a creative concept. So they don't look real, but that actually works in this concept for me really, really well. As was explained, you know, we can all see everything that we need to see in terms of the branding and the label and the made in the USA. So it's This is a clear piece of communication. It's creative. The color palette's beautiful. It's crisp. It's very well lit. You've got that really gentle vignette, so the bright part around the back of the image, and it's fading out. Yeah, this has been put together by someone who is experienced and knows what they are doing, and I really do think it's worthy of bumping it up into the Silver with Distinction category, please.
Thanks, Katrina. Katrina's going to keep her score at 87. Everyone else can rescore now, please. And we've moved up 2 points to stronger silver on 84. Well done, everyone. Now, the astute viewers among you will notice that I'm not Robin Campbell. Her internet has not been her best friend today. So while she's working that stuff out, I'm going to take over for a little bit. So Mel, let's have our next image, please.
The title of this image is Pasta ID, and there's no supplied commercial application statement.
All right, we have an initial score of 84, and straight out of the gate, Bruce is in 93 in that gold range. So, Bruce, the challenge is all yours.
All right, guys, this is exceptional communication in layout and just putting an image together that just strikes you straight out of the gate with something we're all familiar with, but in a totally unique way. The black noodles, or pasta in this instance, using them as a fingerprint is amazingly well thought out and creative. All the trace elements of what would be with a dish using this food, this pasta, just scattered through. And that's the ID, the identity of this dish, but broken down into something that is really, really unique in the way it's presented. And then having the fork there just to tie it together that it is a dish that you will be able to eat. All the elements are put together really nicely. It's lit really well. The color balance is perfect. This is gold, guys. Come on.
Thank you, Bruce. Andy, you saw this a bit differently down in that highly commended range.
Yeah, look, I agree with Bruce in that this is a gold concept. My concern here is the execution has been let down rather dramatically, because whilst it has this fantastic initial impact and it's really, really strong, you then sort of get into the nitty gritty of it. You look at the tomato on the fork and it's got a very dead leaf sitting there. You look at some of the placement of the objects. There's a chili about a third of the way down on the right-hand side that's got some dynamic tension that isn't necessary. The background itself is a little dirty. It doesn't have that really clean, I want to look at this and enjoy food feeling to it. And yet the concept is really, really strong. So I'll agree that I've been a little harsh at 77, but I'm going to really, really need a good long talking to if we're going to get this one up to a gold.
All right, thanks, Andy. Kat, you were in support of this in Silver with Distinction?
I was. I'm currently on 88. So I'm, in the middle of the two gents who've already spoken. Yes, I totally agree with everything that's been said, which is why I'm in the middle. Obviously, the background choice in particular, Bruce, was a little bit, that let me down a little bit. I don't think it's overly adding and it almost looks a little bit dirty, but I'm definitely in support of this image. Conceptually very clever, for the most part quite precise, but I did also see the few things that Andy saw in terms of the shriveled leaves and things like that, that certainly when you're working with food, unless it is, intentionally needing to be a dried chili, we want it to be vibrant and fresh. So Bruce, I'm absolutely listening.
Thanks, Kat. Bruce, back to you.
I think let's address a few things. The background is like a soft, like marble sort of thing, and that sort of to me is a high-end kitchen. So that's the reason why I didn't really think of it as a dirty thing. I felt it was something like a high-end kitchen putting that together. Maybe it might have been better on a plate, but I think they would have lost the actual way to put this together. in regards to like those little bits and pieces like the dried chili and stuff like that, that is part of, you know, high-end cuisine. Like sometimes it's not all fresh ingredients, it's partially dry or semi-dry ingredients and that. So that didn't worry me at all. I think that is potentially what the dish requires. You've got little bits and pieces of everything else in there. At the moment, I am at gold. We're only 1 point from silver distinction, so at least bring it up to there on this one, because this is really well put together, guys. So let's just move it up, even if you can't get to gold.
Thank you, Bruce. Bruce is going to lock his score at 93. Everyone else can rescore, please. We've moved up 3 points into silver with distinction, 87. Excellent work, team. And congratulations to the entrant. Silver with distinction is a fantastic result, so that's great. I'm going to keep judges moving around, so thanks for your work, Andy Campbell. And let's bring Peter Barnes on for the first time, who's raring to go after watching these images go by, I'll bet. We'll have our next image, please, Mel.
Yeah, the title of this image, Play More, Waste Less, Thrift. And the commercial application statement, promote fun ways to use sustainable fashion practices. Upcycle, recycle, thrift.
We have a 76, highly commended, with pretty even scoring across the panel. Kat, you were on 76.
I was, yes, highly commended for sure. This is a neatly composed image, and certainly within a series of other images, I think it would be quite successful. On its own, it's not entirely communicating the title and the message that we're trying to convey there. So, and perhaps keep that in mind moving forward.
All right, thanks, Katrina. We'll keep our panel where it is. And Mel Sinclair, if we could have our next image, please.
This image has no title or commercial application statement.
Scores, please, Johan. All right. Again, very even scoring around the panel with a 78. Highly commended. So congratulations to the entrant. Heidi, you've got some feedback for this image.
Yeah, this is, I mean, look, I was just in a car store looking at tires the other day, so I feel like I'm right back there. The maker has done a really lovely job of communicating the product. What I'm struggling with is just the little off-centerness of the image. If we're going to do something like this, I think symmetry can be really important and valuable in that brand identification. So my only sort of comment right now would be just think about symmetry, but otherwise the lighting's been handled really well, and this is crisp, it's clean. Just think about symmetry and your placement.
All right, thank you, Heidi. That's really good feedback. Let's go to our next image, please, Mel.
The title of this image is Queen's Fortune, and its commercial application statement, licensed book cover image supplied to Archangel Images Agency.
And we have a silver award at 80 with 3 of our judges in that silver range. So congratulations to the entrant. It's excellent. Um, let's go to, I'm going to go to Bruce Moyle for a comment on this one, please.
Sure. Well done on your silver. Striking image. I could definitely see this on a bookshelf in a bookstore, trying to grab attention with everybody else. I think the thing that got me a little bit is the background is there, but you trying to with your vignette onto the lady's face and chest, and that really takes away from some of the story you might be wanting to show in the background. Now it's a tricky balance, and where you've fallen I think is great, but I also would have been interested in seeing potentially where it would land if it was a little bit brighter in the background.
All right, thanks, Bruce. We're going to do a double judge change. So Bruce and Heidi, you can both have a little break. Adam and Amber, let's bring you back onto the panel. And Mel, if we could have our next image, please.
Yeah, the title of this image is No Concrete Cancer, and our commercial application, Concrete Companies Showcasing the Beauty of Concrete.
We have a 77, a highly commended. So congratulations to the entrant on your HC. Now looking around the panel, I'm going to go to, actually I'm going to go to Johan for a comment. You're keen to make a comment. Yes, Johan?
Yep. Wonderful graphics, very strong sort of sense of form. The title didn't quite work with it because it's about no concrete cancer, but it's got all these cracks and things through it. But that's not the deciding thing. If it was to show the beauty of concrete, there's a little bit too much ugliness in there. You know, it's just sort of a little bit too damaged. But lovely form, great flow from left to right. Vignette's a little bit strong on the edges, but yeah, concrete's beautiful.
All right, thanks, Johan. Let's have our next image, please, Mel.
Okay, the title of this image is AFW26, Self-Expression is Art. And our commercial application statement, promote creative, specialized hair extensions.
And we have a silver award at 80. Congratulations to the entrant on your silver. Adam, you were super close to the average there.
Yeah, the image has got an immediate sort of allure. It draws you in. The perspective really makes you look down through that line. I feel like just moving the subject back a little bit so we don't get that where the letters join up with her body there. It just kind of blends in and would perhaps give an even stronger message for the advertisement. But it's got a real immediate impact.
Excellent. Thank you, Adam. Let's have our next image, please, Mel.
This image has no title or commercial application statement.
And we have a 74. I might go to, let's go to Peter Barnes for a comment, please.
Thanks, Chris. I like the way the photographer has used the various colors here to draw focus onto the coffee beans and onto the product on the tray. It would be a stronger photograph for me if we didn't have that confusion with the reflections on the tray, and if the ice cream itself which is part of that reflection, was controlled a bit better and wasn't so bright. But yeah, a well done photograph.
All right, thanks, Peter. Everyone, we're at the halfway point of the commercial category, so we're going to take a little break now. We're going to hear from our sponsors, and we'll see you back here in 3 or 4 minutes.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rizzetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
An online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
And welcome back to the commercial category. Now, my apologies, my internet went all wobbly, so hopefully I can stay with you a little bit longer now. Thank you so much to our sponsors. They keep all of our award winners very, very happy, and we are so glad to have you on board. With that, we're going to do a quick judge swap. So thank you so much to Johan, and we will welcome back to the panel Andy Campbell. And with that, we'll go to our next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Sydney Metro Tunnel, and our commercial application statement used for a supplier to showcase the wood panelling installed.
Thank you, judges. And I've still got, I'm not sure if a couple of judges have hit their submit button. If you can just have a look. There we go. Alrighty. And this image has scored a highly commended at 79. And we have a challenge from Katrina, who is very solidly in the silver range. Katrina, take it away.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, I do believe this photograph is worthy of a silver award. Just a silver, nothing more. It is strong. The supplier would be very happy with this image, I believe. They'd be very happy to showcase their works with this sort of an image. Great decision to leave this in full colour so that we can really get that sense of warmth and the wood in this environment, which you don't often see. It's usually sort of, plasticky and synthetic. So I think it's doing a very good commercial job of highlighting this product. All our lines are straight, our verticals, our horizontals. Great use of perspective to sort of lead us into this, the brightest part of this wood paneling. And then we've also got we can also appreciate the curvature that's been done and included and the work involved in that. So only looking for a silver team. Can we possibly work together to get it there? We're currently sitting on 79. I think this photographer deserves to be rewarded.
Thank you so much, Katrina. Andy Campbell, you're pretty keen to talk. You're in the highly commended area. Hope you're on mute.
Thanks, Katrina, for giving us a chance to talk about this. The points you make are well made. However, if we're going to lift it up to a silver award, which is not only a silver by any means, it's an important award. The choice of the sensor used here, it's very grainy. And I think if we're going to be looking at the texture of the product itself, it needs to be a lot cleaner. Now, that could have been dealt with in post-production, or it could have just, as I said earlier, perhaps using a camera with a larger sensor that would give a more commercial, clean, crisp feel that would highlight the product itself that we're looking at. Then I think we're talking silver award. But at this stage, I'm just holding back at this point.
Thanks, Andy. Peter, you're very much in support here with the solid silver as well.
Yes, I am. Thanks, Robin. I'm not going to add to all the things that Katrina said. I'm not too disturbed by the noise in the image, alluding to Andy's comment. I have one comment to make, though. The renowned Australian architectural photographer John Gollings, I heard him say once that one of the best things to do when you're photographing architecture is to exploit the geometry. 3 words: exploit the geometry. And this photographer's done reasonably well at doing that, but missed out on one of the important points. You've got a wonderful leading line down the center of this symmetrical scene. And if the photographer had stood on that line and put that vertical in between the 2 white panels at the back in the dead center of the image, you'd have a much stronger image. The panels would all look the same size rather than a wider one on the left and a narrower one on the extreme right. It would have been a stronger photograph. 3 words worth remembering, I think.
Thanks so much, Peter. Katrina, you're right to reply.
Yeah, perfectly valid points, gentlemen. I agree completely with you both. Only to add that, I guess, with the sensor and the camera quality thing, Andy, again, you're totally right. But I think obviously where this photographer is in their career, this is the camera that they have. And keeping that in mind, I think the fact that they can produce an image of this quality, at that point in their career where they're maybe not at that point where they're having that really high megapixel camera, I think it's worthy of rewarding with a silver award. Had it been, an even cleaner file, even more crisp, and to your point, Peter, that tiny little step across, I would have gone even higher. I would have gone into silver distinction. So, please come up to silver if you're willing.
Thank you so much, Katrina, and thank you for your incredible points on that image as well. They're very thoughtful. We'll go to a rescore, please, judges. This image remains highly commended at 79. However, that was a very, very useful and educational debate. So well and truly worthwhile. Thank you so much, judges. We'll go to the next image, please.
This image is titled The HR Collective, and its commercial application statement, website marketing and PR for a small human resources team wanting a modern vibe.
And this image has scored a highly commended at 77. Adam, yes, you've got a comment for this one, please.
Absolutely. There's a lovely clean feel that sort of attracts you in, and even the palette's quite well matched there. I feel like a little bit of the energy of, especially the two people, sort of leads us away from the image. We really want to be drawn into the middle. And when I am drawn into the middle, just watch the placement of those hands and just right across the image, how we're actually posing people, making it feel more active rather than sort of very static. But yeah, there's certainly a lot to get into here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. We'll go to our next image, please.
This image has no title, but its commercial application statement is editorial portrait of the Umbilical Brothers for publication.
And we have a silver award at 84. However, we have a challenge from Amber. Amber is in the gold range at 94. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Amber. Take it away.
Thank you. I had the good fortune of prejudging this category, and so I have seen all of these images before. And I remember when the very first time that I saw this image, I was really wowed by it. I think as commercial photographers, we've probably all taken a lot of brand photos of people, headshots and different sort of lifestyle portraits. And I just really, really love the unique idea of this portrait of these two men. I feel like this portrait gives us a real sense of their personalities. There's a fantastic kind of quirkiness to the posing, and I just really would love to talk about it. There's a real range of scores here, so I'm really curious to see how you guys see this image.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a huge range of scores. So I'm going to bring on Katrina. Katrina is in the highly commended zone. Let us know what you're thinking.
I am. I'm currently on 78, and look, I'm definitely willing to come up. I think I have been shy. I'm not quite at gold yet, but I'm listening, Amber. So please, hit me with all your points. I'd love to hear them. This is an impactful portrait. Absolutely. I feel like it could have been worked a little more to have even more impact, particularly in terms of dodging and burning. So it seems to be, a natural light portrait, which I love, but we're sort of, I don't know, I'm feeling quite distracted by the sort of abstract mess in the background in the center there, and it's quite bright on these subjects' faces, and particularly the one in the background on his head, which that's something that we have to deal with as photographers and be mindful of. I don't want to be drawn to his head. I want to be drawn to his face, to his expression, to his body language. I love, the sense of quirk and fun. I love that they're in this wall and they're fully into it. They're fully invested. So they obviously trust their photographer and they're working very well together as a team. Really nice, direct gaze on the subject in the foreground. But yeah, I just really would have appreciated more refinement, more treatment, with the dodging and burning particularly.
Fantastic. Andy Campbell, you're in support. You're in the Silver Distinction range.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This is a fantastic portrait of these guys. They're quirky, they're crazy. I've seen them on Instagram and they're really, really funny. And I think the use of the location here is very clever. I've actually shot in this location. It's an extraordinary place to do it, and I would have loved to have thought of that myself. But the photographers got some really cool ways. The bent knee is sort of leading you in slightly. The expressions themselves are fantastic. The lighting on these people, I'm sorry, Katrina, I love it. I think they look perfect. My only hesitation with this one is just the background in the top. It's just a little bright for gold. But gee whiz, I'm really enjoying this portrait. Very solid silver distinction, at least.
Alrighty, so we have a big range of scores, but Amber is asking for gold, so I would like to hear from one more person. Adam, are you happy to throw some comments in? Thanks.
Absolutely. Look, I'm glad we challenged this image for the reason to have a talk about. I too was a little distracted by that part, the background there, but the more I sort of look at it and think of it in a commercial sense, it reminds me of like of those band posters or street press kind of thing, which is giving us plenty of room at the top and plenty of room at the bottom. And suddenly those images, that sort of problem disappears. And I think the photographers, they've done well as foreshortened it and got rid of all of those distractions. The only thing that stops me going up into gold, and now I will come up definitely in the silver distinction right now and could be even further, is that that foreshortening of that long lens. I just get an impression, even zoomed out, that there's not as much sharpness. My eyes are telling me there's just not quite on the right-hand character. The sharpest thing is, you can see from the bricks, is his shoe in front on the left-hand person. And as I want to get into his face, it just feels like it's just sort of bouncing me around a little bit. That's what's stopping me from going into gold, but I'm definitely coming up.
Alrighty, so Amber, sounds like you've got a little bit of work to do, but I reckon you're all over this. Go for it.
Okay, just to address that last point first, I think that one of the things that I really love about this image is the authenticity of it. I feel like it hasn't been overworked. Even if that character on the right-hand side is ever so slightly soft, in a commercial application of this, as in like not in a photography judging competition where we're pixel peeping and zooming in a commercial application, I really don't think that tiny amount of softness would actually be an issue for a portrait like this. And I guess that kind of leads me to the dodging and burning factor. If this was to be used as, like a fine art image somewhere, it could, you could do a fine art dodge and burn to this and really perfect all of those little things. But that just kind of, to me, that takes away from the really raw authenticity of it. And that's one of the components of this image that I think is so honest and really striking about it. And I don't know these men at all, Andy, but I feel like authenticity and uniqueness is something that is important to them. So I can imagine that as clients, they wouldn't have wanted this portrait to be overworked. They want it to just be authentic. And in the commercial world of photography these days, as AI comes in and we have the ability to provide incredibly overly perfected work, I'm kind of leaning more and more towards these authentic portraits. I really do strongly feel that this sits in the gold range. And is there anything I haven't addressed? Oh, sorry, just the brightness and the messiness in the background. I think because the depth of field has been utilized so well, the blurriness of that background actually really doesn't detract my eye, and the triangle of brights between the two faces of our characters and the shoe, my eye just rolls around and around that triangle. I think it's a very, very clever image and it deserves to be in gold. So please come up.
Thank you so much, Amber. All right, judges, if you could please rescore. And we now have a silver with distinction at 88. Fantastic. Congratulations to the photographer. What a wonderful debate as well. It was so lovely to see so many different perspectives on this image. And isn't it interesting, some of the comments as well of how photography has evolved and the things that are becoming a priority. Absolutely brilliant. Congratulations. We'll go to our next image, please.
The title of this image is Ice Stone, and the commercial application statement, inspired by TV series, symbolizes water, strength, and force, handcrafted costume.
Alrighty, this image has scored a silver with distinction at 88. However, I don't think it's going to stay there long. We actually have two judges in the gold range. Andy Campbell has put his hand up to challenge this. So take it away, Andy.
Thanks very much, Robin. This is an exemplary, extraordinary, and beautiful image. So exquisitely crafted. The 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 technique used here is just glorious. The amount of work that's gone into this, you inspect it on every level at 100%, and there's just nothing to fault. I love the depth within this, the very subtle use of the aquatic creatures. They don't dominate; they just complement the subject. The subject is exquisitely posed. There's a grace and a form there. The light in the eyes is beautiful. Overall, this is a really, really well crafted piece of communication, and it's so strong. It's well worthy of a gold.
Alrighty, Amber, not so sure. You're in the silver range.
Yeah, I was. I think I'm struggling with this from a narrative perspective. It has to me like quite a fashion-y kind of a vibe with the hand posing and the very sort of expressionless look. And I'm struggling also for the commercial application for an image like this. I don't feel like I don't feel like I've learned any more about it from the caption that we've been given. I do really appreciate the craft elements of this image. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm definitely a little too low in silver, and I can come up to silver distinction, but I feel I'm just not quite believing it enough.
Yep. Andy, you've definitely got support. Katrina, you're also in the gold range.
Yes, I was. I'm right there with Andy and very happy there, happy to stay there and listening as always. I'm on 92. Outstanding, absolutely. The technical control, like Andy said, there is such precision and expertise that's gone into this image. You cannot doubt this photographer's ability. And obviously they've pulled together, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but there's potentially a makeup artist involved as well, which in terms of, commercial application, I could see a makeup artist using something like this, a costume designer, a retoucher. For me, there is definitely commercial application possibility for sure. This is a strong contender for a gold image. I'm also really appreciating the touches of the pink and the blush as well, just to give us that little pop of colour, but it's used in a subtle way. Masterfully done, constantly coming back to the face and the expression, but equally enjoying spending time travelling around this image and taking in all the details, which have just been superbly crafted and put together. It's hyper real, it's beautiful, it's absolutely worthy of a gold in my mind.
Awesome. Thank you, Katrina. Now we are talking gold, so we'll get a really super quick comment from Adam.
Yeah, super quickly. I think I'm definitely underscored it as well, and I think I struggled a little bit with the depth. First of all, that there was so much of it. I guess I kind of initially thought maybe I wanted to be more focused in, but Katrina's absolutely right. It's the eyes and that color that really draws you in, and the subtle form of So if we're showing off makeup, or if we're showing off costume, I think it does it extremely effectively. I just want to reward as well the absolute mastery and the pose and just the feeling that we get, because I think the best fashion images sometimes make look those things that are really really hard look really easy, and this looks like the easiest thing in the world, that she's underwater with all of these creatures. I'm going to come up absolutely in very strong support.
All right, Andy Campbell, write a reply. Sounds like you're pretty much there though.
Yeah, just to address Amber's comment about the commercial application, the image says it's inspired by TV series. So, I guess that evokes thoughts of sci-fi series such as, Aquaman or even the Avatar series to a degree. So, taking that inspiration, you could use this as a promotional piece for your imaginary non-commissioned sci-fi series here. But I think that ultimately, though, every element appears so purposeful and it contributes to the overall message. I just keep falling in the depth of this and these little bubbles and everything. This is gold, guys. Please come and join me.
Judges, if you could please rescore. Just waiting on Amber's. I'm not sure if yours has gone through. Submit button. There we go. Awesome. We now have a solid gold on 92. Congratulations to the photographer. Very exciting. Well done. Sensational debate as well. Thank you so much, judges. Good job working as a team. And we'll have a quick judge change. Thank you so much, Amber. You've been on for a while. And we'll pop you off and welcome Bruce Moyle back. And we'll go to our next image. Thanks, Mel.
Okay, this image has no title, but its commercial application statement is National Design Agency showcasing simple, effective external design.
And this image has scored a silver at 83. Congratulations to the photographer. Adam, you're pretty keen to make a comment on this.
Yeah, look, and the caption says it all: simple, effective.
Oh, nope, hang on. Pause that, pause that,
Sorry?
pause that. We
Sorry?
have a challenge. Sensational. We have Katrina in the silver distinction range. So, Adam, I will come back to you, but beforehand, I will pass it over to Katrina, who is challenging for a silver distinction. Thanks so much, Katrina.
Sorry, Robin, I don't know if that was an internet thing, but I did push it pretty quickly. So thank you for picking up on my frantic waving in the background. Yeah, I would really like to talk about this image because I think it's very striking. And yes, it is very simple, but it's been very well handled. It's clean. I think the client would love a piece like this. Yeah, I've silver with distinction. Commercial category. It is highly refined. Great choice of time of day to get that lengthening shadow. I appreciate its simplicity and its design. Yeah, can we talk about it, please? I'd love to hear what the other judges have to say.
Absolutely. Adam, it's your turn now. Take it away.
And now I'll go as the low judge. Yeah, look, and it says it all in the caption. You're exactly right, Kat. The simple, effective external design and, nice colors that contrast. That's all the strength of it. And that's why I rewarded it. I wanted to reward a little higher, actually. When it's something so simple, I think I want to look at every little detail and so the architectural, and the way it distorts up towards the top just sort of pulls me out of that kind of very strong, there's such strong diagonal lines, but maybe it's just my OCD that wants it to be OCD about the whole thing and really just, really reinforce that whole message of this is just simple, straight, dominant lines and not giving me that sort of curve. But look, I'm really listening to it because it does interest me.
Fantastic. All right, Peter, you'd also like to make some comments. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Robin. I'm on 82, thinking about coming up, but I don't think I can go to silver with distinction. What we've got here is a very well executed photograph. The photographer's brought a lot of craft to this. As has been mentioned, the light is right, the time of day is right. The all the technical elements of the photograph are good, including getting the lines all straight everywhere. But the photographer hasn't designed this. The photographer has taken a very good photograph of a design, a fairly straightforward photograph, and for that reason, I think they should be commended with a silver. But I'm not sure I want to go any higher.
All right, Katrina, you're right of reply.
Yeah, understood. Appreciate that, Peter. You did say yourself this was like an elevated, like very well executed, and that is literally part of the definition of a silver with distinction, elevated execution. And Adam, I also am anally retentive and wanted the vertical lines slightly transformed, like bring us back to that absolutely precise. But gee, if that's where we're getting stuck, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this has really strong impact, and given the client, National Design Agency, I think the photographer has hit the brief. This image works teeny tiny, and it would also work absolutely massive as well. Beautiful design elements, well seen. Space to add in logo, branding, all those sorts of things that they may potentially need as well. So we're in silver, which is awesome. Well done to the photographer. I am asking if you consider coming up, but either way, well done to the photographer. This is very, very nicely and professionally done.
Excellent. Judges, if you could please rescore. And we have an 84 silver. So one more point. Well done, worth the debate. Good job all round. We'll go to our next image, please.
The title of this image is The Original Flamingo, and the commercial application statement, this is an image created as part of an advertising campaign for Adidas shoes.
Alrighty, this image has scored a 79, highly commended. Are we all happy with that? No, we have a challenge. Alrighty. Peter, you are on 86, which is in the silver distinction range. Thank you for challenging. You may take it away.
Thanks, Robin. I love this image. I like the fact that the flamingo is obviously pretty fake. There's no attempt to try and make it look like a real flamingo. It's almost clumsily added into there, but in a very effective way. The colours of the flamingo are perfect, and the background and the colours of the flamingo complement the shoes. The shoes are exquisitely photographed. All the detail is there. The colours are just right. They've done very well. The photographer's done very well there. The concept is quirky. The concept draws your attention. I reckon this is up there in the silver distinction. Please come up.
Alrighty. So at the other end of the scale, we have Bruce Moyle. Take it away, Bruce.
Thanks, Peter. I got to disagree. I think it's got a clumsiness the way it's been put together. The masking on the bird isn't very good. The shoes are the shoe elements themselves are shot really well. The bird doesn't feel like it's put together in any way beyond like just needing to stick it to there. There's no shadows. The lighting's inconsistent between what the shoes are, where the bird is. The bird's not sharp. There's a lot of things here which should work together really well. The concept's great, but the execution for me is fairly poor, unfortunately. So I'd like to hear some more why I should come up.
Yep, no worries at all. You did have some support with Adam in the silver range. Adam, did you want to comment?
No, I'd talk in. I was rewarding the concept, and the bottom half of the image is absolutely what got me into silver, and the top half, exactly what Bruce said just then, is what kept me in silver as well.
Awesome. All right, Peter, write a reply.
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, I quite like the dodginess of the bird, opposed to the crispness and the expertise displayed in portraying the shoes. I think it's all part of the quirkiness of the design of this photograph, and for that reason, I commend the photographer doing that. Yeah, I reckon it's worth a silver with distinction.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter. And that's why we have lots of judges on our panel as well, because we all appreciate different opinions. Judges, if you could please rescore. And this image remains 79, highly commended, but a fantastic debate. And for those listening at home, just got a great big shopping list of ingredients that are needed to bring an image to the next level. We're going to do a quick judge change. Thank you so much, Katrina. You've been on there quite a while. We'll welcome back Heidi. And we'll go to our next image, please.
The title of this image is Echo of Impact, and our commercial application statement: this image can be used for fashion or product advertising.
And this image has scored a highly commended at 75. We've got a few judges wanting to comment. I think, Adam, you were the fastest.
What a surprise. Look, well done to the photographer for creating something with a bit of intrigue. It's a brave composition, that soul spotlight. I think in the commercial context, though, we want to show the shoes and highlight the shoes. And so, we don't get as good a view on that. And even in the category where we have post-production, the most dominant thing is kind of the chair's shadow, and perhaps even playing with that shadow to highlight the shoes further may then bring this up and give it something that elevates it into silver.
Great feedback. Thank you so much. We'll go to our next image, please.
This image is titled Odd One Out, and its commercial application statement: used for shipping client to describe the vast amount of products they ship.
Thank you, judges. This image has scored a 79, highly commended. And we have a challenge from Peter. Peter is on 87 in the silver distinction range. Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Robin. Again, a wonderful photograph of those things which sometimes are delights to photograph and sometimes are nightmares to photograph. In this case, the photographer's done a really good job of getting the light across the whole of the containers in a really lovely way. It almost looks two-dimensional, but then there's that little bit of three-dimensional. I'm struggling for the term. Showing the three-dimension nature of the whole thing by showing the ends of the orange containers there. I really like the fact that there's a message that's coming across, a commercial message saying hire me. I think that's obviously an important part of this image and works really well. Photographers to be commended for giving us an image that we really want to look at. And as we look at it, we see a very strong message coming out of it. So, yeah, silver with distinction.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Peter. At the other end, we've got Andy Campbell on 77. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Peter. I've just held this one out of the silver award range at this point because there's a tension at the very bottom on the left-hand side where I feel the if a little bit of cropping at the bottom had been done, that would minimize that. But also the title of Odd One Out, there's this huge amount of tension where the actual zero is cropped on the left-hand side. That needed a bit of room to breathe so that we could actually get the concept a little bit more. The lighting is almost there. I think the earlier image was better. The color palette is magnificent. I'm listening, but I'm going to need a little more convincing, please.
All righty, Heidi is also in the silver category. Heidi?
Yeah, thank you. I scored this an 80. I think it's really worthy of a silver, and I'm listening to everyone. I'm definitely willing to come up. I had some of the same, concerns. I would have loved to have just seen a little bit more space because we've been given this very clever title, very punny title. Just a little more space to fully get that word one in there so that there's no mistake. It just feels a little squished in, and also I was struggling with the crop, but I am listening and willing to come up with a little more convincing.
Awesome. All right, Peter, your right to reply.
I take your points about the crop on the bottom and the one being not having enough room to really stand out. But for me, those two things don't overshadow the overall immediate impact of this photograph. Yeah, if a silver distinction is too much of a stretch, can we please make it a silver?
Thank you so much, Peter. Judges, if you could please rescore. And we now have a silver award at 81. Congratulations to the photographer. Fantastic debate as well. I love the punny line. That was just brilliant. We're going to do a quick judge swap. Peter, thank you so much. You can go out and hi. And we're going to welcome back Johan. And we'll go to our next image, please.
The title of this image is Aspiring Avalanche Dogs. And our commercial application statement, Alpine Search and Rescue Dog Training Shot for Fujifilm Global Camera Launch Promo.
And this image has scored an 82 silver award. However, we have a challenge. Adam, you are on 92, and I'm so looking forward to this debate because we have a large range of scores. Bring it on.
I love a challenge in both sense of the sense of the words. If this is a camera promo, I want that camera right now because look at the richness of the colors, the sharpness through everything. I immediately kind of wondered before I even saw the caption, oh, wow, I wonder what they did this with. But going past the technical, we want a commercial image to immerse us in a situation. And I think this diptych here, we get that viewpoint that we don't sort of get from below. I feel like I'm with that guy and the dog coming down from the helicopter, but then I'm sort of in the ice and I'm right there, and it feels really bright and really, but there's such a wonderful portrayal of both different environments, the sort of very clean sky and the crispness and I can feel the cold on that ice, which then it gives me, the Alpine Search and Rescue. it's just very appealing in every way, like technically, and the immersion. I think as a commercial image with lots of space for lots of text and everything like that, it really draws me in initially. So I'd love to see it come up quite a few points if that's all right.
Awesome. So at the other end of the scale, we have Andy Campbell, who's in the highly commended area. Thanks, Andy.
Oh, well, we all like a challenge. Thanks, Adam. The problem here for me is that when you've got a diptych, you need to have two strong images working in complementary manner to highlight each other. Now, in my opinion, neither of these images is particularly strong. And that's where the communication falls down. The image on the left, there's not much drama going on in there. The helicopter itself is out of focus and the rotor blades have been frozen, whereas a slightly slower shutter speed would have given us that disc, which would be far more appealing visually to see. There's a whole bunch of space on the top left-hand side that's just, not doing anything. The image on the right, however, is almost there, but the animation on the dog itself is lacking. There's just no drama there. It just seems all very static and all very kind of placed. It's a commercial image. I agree with you about the camera aspect of it. The technicality of the camera sensor is superb, but the actual use of the camera is what I'm questioning here.
Alrighty. I would like to hear from Johan, who is in the silver range. Thank you so much, Johan.
It's as a camera promotion, I think this works well because it's got attractive subjects, it's got beautiful skies, it's got clarity, and it's sharp. But if I was promoting the camera, then I would really be careful about dust spots. And in the second image, there's a dust spot at the top. And then when I'm looking at that second image, and this is where the both of them fall apart, the softness of the foreground of the ice at the top becomes a distraction, and it just sort of makes you want to change something or make it better in some way, and that could have been dealt to. I gave it an 81. I'm happy for it to get a silver because it's a lovely diptych. But keep talking, Adam, and see what happens.
All right, Adam, write a reply. Sounds like you got some work.
Look, there's nothing like a good challenge. Thank you for the dust spot. I did miss it. I'm not great with dust spots. My eyes, are more attuned, but I was so drawn. I mean, I'm so drawn to that. And Andy, to address your sort of thing, I feel like I want to put myself in that situation and go, there's a man, their dog, and they're coming on the thing, and this is not a straight drop down. They come around. It's not me going, can you just hang on so I can be the 60th of a second? You want to capture the action and freeze that person. And there's a lovely sort of angle that leaves the room for the commercial, as opposed to the dog on the right. We're talking about a dog that's in training. I almost feel like it's the guy encouraging it. Come on, let's make the jump. It's a little bit scared and we're going over there. I'm going to struggle to get this up into goal, but I really think just the boldness of it and, the intensity and putting us in that situation, we could at least get up to a silver distinction.
Thank you, judges. If you could please rescore. And we have a solid silver at 83. Well done to the photographer. Fantastic debate yet again. We'll go to our next image, please.
The title of this image is Shattered Presence, and its commercial application statement. This image can be used on billboards, social media, and brand posters.
And this image has scored a 74. Thanks, Bruce. A comment would be great.
Okay. Based on your commercial application description, billboards and social media and that, especially if you're going for billboards or large things, the big thing when you're doing work for a product is showcasing the product in its natural state, I suppose, the right colors and that sort of stuff. This is a very warm image, and we've got no reason to see it as a warm image, apart from you think it might be in a theater or something like that. So it's not showcasing the product in its best light or the way that the manufacturer would probably enjoy seeing it showcased to everybody else. This is the product, and this is what you're getting when you buy it.
Good comment. Thank you so much. We'll go to our next image, please.
This image has no title or supplied commercial application statement.
And this image has scored an 80 silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. Adam, you're pretty keen to make a comment.
Yeah, there's a lovely low-key element to the top half of the image, the way that the sort of chrome or the metal or of the the bike or the moped, whatever it is. The lights are a real distraction though, away from that lovely texture, and then just the way it's sort of inconsistently as well. And light flare is so hard to it really pulls me away from all of that nice texture, and even just the little indicators on the side, just where the light falls. We really want to see into the detail of it. I'm just blocked a little by that light, but yeah, nice work at the top.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. We're going to do a quick judge change. Thank you, Andy Campbell. You've been on there a while, and we'll welcome back Amber Griffin. Thank you so much. We'll go to our next image, please.
This image is titled Pouring the Future at 4 a.m. and its commercial application statement, part of a campaign for Builder and Concrete Pouring Company.
And this image has scored a highly commended at 78 with a very close scoring range. I would love a comment. Heidi, that would be great. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, actually, just visually, it's got quite a lot of impact, hasn't it? Because you really want to bounce around and look at what's going on. And who knew that concrete could be so interesting? I think what would elevate this image is we've got a little bit of lens distortion. Obviously, we've got using a wide angle lens here, but I'm just feeling, I'm not sure if it's the fence that's creating that or the lens itself, but it is creating that sort of warping on the edges. So just watch out for that. The other thing I'm noticing is that light that's coming off the truck, which is helping them work, but it is really kind of drawing us away from the center of attention there. But otherwise, really visually striking, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Heidi. We'll go to our next image, please.
This image is titled Every Shade of You, and there is no commercial application statement.
This image has scored a silver at 83. And we have a challenge from Bruce, who is on 88. Thank you so much, Bruce. Take it away.
Okay, so I'm going to give it a optometrist as the reason for this, because it's clearly about glasses, and it's clearly about like the fashion of glasses, but also how fun they can be and how interesting they are. And they make you different. It's a fashion choice, it's a personality choice, and the model's perfectly chosen. They've worked out somebody who's got great expression, and they're all slightly different. They're all fairly happy. Top middle one's got a bit of chewed to it, which I love. And then I love the actual bit at the bottom where we've got the things on our eyes for, I don't know what they're called, sorry, but exaggerates her eyes and gives that look of wonder, and I think that's great. So as posing and that, done really well. Lighting is excellent. The glasses don't have any bad problems with specular highlights in any wrong spots, which is really hard to do when doing glasses photography. They're dark where they need to be dark. They're transparent where they need to be transparent. So excellently lit. I think this is worthy of a silver just for the technicals alone, but as a layout and everything, it really communicates exactly what it needs to show, that this is how you can be. So let's talk about this.
All right, Heidi, not so sure, 79.
Thank you. It actually gave me more time to sort of zoom around. I scored this 79, and I'm hearing your points, and I do think it's, it's a visually striking campaign. Obviously, it's somewhere between product and beauty photography. And so when we're kind of combining the two, we really have to make sure that both are consistent and both are visually pleasing for whatever we're selling. Obviously, it's glasses. I think what kind of held me back is in some of the frames, particularly the top left, there's something kind of, and I can't quite verbalize what's going on. There's a strange masking thing going on in the shoulder area. And as you kind of zoom around some of the other circular openings, and if you look at the shoulder, there's something strange going on. I'm not sure if it's a masking problem, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And also a little more refinement of the hair. I think when we are dealing with something that is a close-up of the face, particularly for shades, we really want that beauty aesthetic to be there as well as the product. So I'm listening. I'm happy to come up, but I'm just struggling a little bit with the skin treatment here.
Alrighty, I'll just grab a quick comment from Johan. Thank you, Johan.
Right. It's such a fun set of images. I gave it a mid-silver, and I think it's well deserved of that. I think the photographer could have done a little bit more with the arrangement. If you look at all the photographs of the model down the left-hand side, the head's posed in exactly the same way, and it's a similar kind of smile all the way through. Whereas if you block those out and look at all the others, they are all entirely different, and it would have been perhaps more effective if they'd have been mashed up a bit more. And I do really enjoy the placement of the testing goggles on the last image. I think that's very effective. I see the problem on the first image in the top corner, but I think it's very well deserving of a goodish silver. So keep talking to me, Bruce, and we, might be able to go up.
Alrighty, Bruce, write a reply.
Cool. Yeah, having a look around, I was looking at the shoulders and I can't really see anything too egregious there. Maybe it's just my eyes today and not seeing it. I'll give you the hair could have definitely done a little bit more styling or removal in post-production, but I don't think it's too egregious. Everything sits quite nicely in that, but it's also the skin tone. Like this person's got makeup on and they haven't gone to the shoulder or the chest area, but this is a real person. This is not a like fully fleshed out, like commercial polished supermodel campaign. So I'm actually kind of like it because it feels a bit more natural than some of the overly produced skin tones you get in some product photography. The layouts could go either way. That's I think is a bit of personal preference in that one. I think it fits quite nicely as a story. Yeah, overall, I think it's really well communicating exactly what it is. If you saw this in a window, like in Specsavers or whatever optometrists you have around you, you'd think this is part of a proper campaign. This is not something that has been phoned in. This is well thought out. So I think it's worthy of a silver distinction. So we only need a few points, so let's go.
Thanks so much, Bruce. Judges, if you could please rescore. And we have a silver at 84. So very, very solid score. Congratulations to the photographer. And Bruce, you get to go out on a high. Good job, mate. Fantastic challenge. We will welcome back Katrina. Thank you so much. And we'll go to the next image, please, Mel.
The title of this image is Beyond Black, and our commercial application statement Created for the House of Easy's collection, this campaign explores black as strength, elegance, and presence.
And we have a gold award at 91, which is incredible, amazing, sensational. But believe it or not, we have a challenge. We have Johan at 97. Take it away, Johan.
This is everything that it says on the label. This is beyond black. This is captivating. This is strength. It is elegance, and it's definitely presence. The use of the mesh to create a diffraction of the model is just outstanding. We don't need to see the details of the clothing. We want to get the impression that black can shine. It's powerful, it's engaging. Yeah, it's all of these things. I love that shimmer that goes from her hair up to the top, caused by the screen across the front. It's beautiful. And then that little earring that catches your attention, so you have to go back up around that face, and then you go beyond the black. Honestly, it works so well.
All right, I'd love to hear from Adam. Adam, you're our lowest scorer at 87. Take it away.
I wondered if I'd be lowest or the highest here. I don't think it could go either way. Look, I initially was, I think, a little bit put off by the fact that I think it was a clothing image and I couldn't really see the clothing. I'm so drawn to that face. But the more I look at it, there's such wonderful control right through the image, because even down in those blacks, you can still see that lovely texture that you're talking about. So it's not going to be hard for me to come up into gold. There are parts of the, it's so consistent right across that mesh. There are parts just to the left of the face where obviously the material is not as consistent, perhaps. It just pulls me away a tiny bit, but it's a very, very minor point on what's a technically really astounding image. And the more I sit with it and the more I kind of get it out of my head that I need to see the clothes to be the whole story, the more I'm easily convinced up into gold.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. We are going to go to Heidi next. Heidi, you're on 88.
And I'm thinking that I have underscored. Look, immediately, this is so striking. It's so refined. It's so well handled, and it's so effective. This is a master photographer dealing with this. And I'm, admittedly too low on that. The thing that held me back was I would have loved to have seen just a little bit more light or catch light in that eye that's dominant to the camera. But we have a little bit of that light in the eyelid, but I agree with all the points, and I'm definitely coming up, and I encourage everyone else to as well.
All right, Johan, write a reply. I don't think you've got much work to do, mate.
Excellent. I didn't even mention these beautiful diagonals that happen crisscross right across the image that plant us back in the center. And then we go back up to that face, and then we get really excited like I am. And what a powerful image. I reckon this is beyond the 97 I gave it. Give it a nice big black number, like 100 or something if you can. Yeah.
All righty. I believe that is possible, but I will leave it to our judges to rescore. Thank you. And we have a very, very, very solid gold at 94. Congratulations to the photographer. How exciting. Gold is one thing, but getting up there in points in a gold is really an extraordinary thing. So well done indeed, and great debate. All of our judges moved their scores, so well done working as a team. We'll go to our next image, please.
The title of this image is Dropping In. and the commercial application statement, Alpine Search and Rescue Dog Training Shot for Fujifilm Global Camera Launch Promo.
And this image has scored a highly commended at 79 with a very close scoring range. Katrina, I think you're the first to ask to make a comment. Go for it.
Yes, this is a very nicely done image for sure. What's holding me right down is actually the horizon line. We're severely askew. You can see a bit of what I'm assuming is ocean, but even the way the clouds are, just making me feel quite uncomfortable as a viewer. But yeah, awesome moment, and I'm sure as a commercial for Fuji, they'd be really happy with that.
Thank you so much. We'll go to our next image, please.
Yeah, the title of this image is Sakana, and our commercial application statement, presentation of Sakana hot sauce, 700 grams of chili peppers and a jar.
And this image has scored an 84 silver award. However, we have a challenge from Katrina, who is on 94. So this is how it's going to work. Sorry, 92. Katrina's on 92. Katrina, I'd like you to go first, and I would like then Adam to go second, followed by Heidi. And I will be back when you finished all of that. Good luck.
Thanks, Robin. This image has immediate striking impact. I think it's quite brave to also do the red on red. Sometimes that can be tricky. It's sort of sometimes we're tempted to go the contrasting color there, and I think that was a very smart decision, and it's been handled very well. We're still capturing all the detail. Really fun, interesting, clear concept. You know what this is, what this product is straight away. It's very precise, technically handled exceptionally well. You've got all the beautiful catch lights on those chilies, those shiny little hot peppers down the bottom there, and then equally contrasted with the beautiful rich shadowing and black detail. So it's really grounding us there. So it's got this hyper real sense, but we still well and truly know what this all is. Masterfully handled, nice vignette that works well. What's holding you back?
I think it's my turn to go next. I agree. What's holding me back? Because I got that initial impact, and I sort of went, okay, I want to go in and explore it now, because I think that you've got this obvious suspension of disbelief here, I still want to be able to see how they make it look real and how they make my brain believe it. And when I go into even where the oil comes down, I can forgive that from the nozzle, but it's so ultra clean that. But then the chilies coming down have parts that just aren't as sharp as the ones, because the chilies on the bottom, for reference, are so sharp. It kind of almost does a disservice to those ones coming down. They're not quite as crisp all the way around. I too struggle a little bit with the way that vignette, it starts off really well, but then just grays out a little tiny bit. It contrasts with that really lovely shadow that's on the bottom vignette there. So I really wanted to reward, and that's why I rewarded 83 with a silver, but just to get it up a little bit higher, I need a little bit more convincing.
Yeah, I agree, Adam. I struggle with some of the similar things. Look, this is a visually striking image, as
Thank
far
you
as
so much,
brand.
Adam.
as far as a brand impact, I'll keep talking. I think. As far as brand impact goes, it's all there, but I was struggling with similar things. I felt like the vignetting was just a little heavy-handed. I actually would have preferred it to feel a little more open. And yeah, when I sort of zoom in on some of these dropping down chili peppers, particularly the third one, just feeling there was a few masking issues, but that's really what held me back. But I'm listening, and I do agree that it's a really wonderful product campaign.
Thanks, Heidi. Kat, we might come back to you for right of reply, please.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yes, I appreciate what you guys can see in those chilies, the falling ones, sorry, particularly. I guess because they're falling, I was a bit more forgiving. So they're meant to be a little bit in motion. So rather than being sort of extremely crisp, I guess that's how I've read it and sort of forgiven that as such, or that's how I've understood it. So yeah, that's the resolution on that for me. The vignetting, Heidi, yep, I see what you're seeing. And you said it was, your preference would be otherwise. And I guess that's just a difference in opinion sort of thing, isn't it? My preference is that for me, this really works. So yeah, look, I'm up in gold. I guess we're already on silver with distinction. I do think it's worthy of gold. This is outstanding, excellent concept, beautifully crafted, very well handled, very technically sound. It's a powerful commercial piece. Please come up to gold if you will. If you won't, please give it a few more points.
Thanks, Kat. Kat's going to leave her score at 92. Everyone else can rescore now, please. And we've moved up to a silver with distinction. Those 3 more points make a big difference to the entrant. Excellent discussion, team. That's really good. All right. And that is the end of the judging for our commercial category. So thanks to all of our entrants for giving us such excellent images to judge today. Hope you've really enjoyed it. Robin, are you back? I would love for you to land this plane.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I've got uppy downy internet, but I am back. So thank you so much, Chris, for jumping in. And the whole Australian Photographic Prize, it is such a team effort. We've all got each other's backs. So I tell you what, I appreciate that so entrance. All of your images were extraordinary, and it takes a lot of guts to enter photography awards and have them judged live. So well done to you. Thank you so much to our judges. You've done an amazing job bringing each of your unique experiences to the forefront, and the passion was just incredible. So Adam Hurigan, Amber Griffin, Andrew Campbell, Bruce Moyle, Heidi Margoski, Johan Van Can, Katrina Ferguson, and Peter Barnes, thank you so much. Thank you also to our amazing audience for tuning in and joining to celebrate the excellence of photography. I hope you join us for our next live category and, of course, the awards ceremony, which is on the 13th of August. Until then, we'll see you later. Thanks.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rizzetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
An online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.